Windmill Crest Farm, and I'm going to demonstrate ice dyeing today. We're going to ice dye some bamboo roving. What we need, and I'm going to run through and give you your list of supplies first. What we need is a tub that will catch the water, a grate, your fiber. Once again, we're using bamboo roving, ice, lots and lots of ice. You need rubber gloves, your dye. You want to make sure you get a fiber reactive dye. I use Dharma Trading. A spoon, or what I have is a tea baster to sprinkle your dye on with, some rubber gloves, soda ash, and water. And what you do first of all is you mix up the soda ash water. And for the soda ash water, it's 2 cups of soda ash per gallon of water. You can divide this in half if you don't want to do that much fiber. And it will also, you can also keep it in the refrigerator and save it for a few weeks. Okay, so I've already done that here, as I've got my soda ash and my water mixed up. I'm going to take the fiber and I'll put on your rubber gloves. Soda ash is kind of hard on your skin. You don't want to you want to make sure that you don't have any of that soda ash on your skin. And I have about a half a pound of bamboo roving here. You just dip it into the water and push it in. Make sure it gets all nice and wet. Soak it up. Soak it up. Okay. You don't need to leave it in here for a long time. You just need to make sure it's nice and saturated and there's nothing in the middle that's dry. So make sure everybody gets all wet. Okay. Once you do that, then you can pick it up and just squeeze out that excess liquid. It's not totally so squished out, it's alright, because some of it's going to drip on top of your grate. But you want to get most of it out. Okay, and then you bring it over and you put it on your grate. You want to spread it out as thin as possible, because you want as much surface area as you can to be able to put your dye on. The Dharma Trading has several colors of dye. But what we're going to do today is we're going to use Raven Black. Raven Black is a combination of colors, and when you put it on here, it splits out those colors. So we get a unique blend of pinks and blues and purples and darker colors in there. Okay, I have it spread out pretty nice and thin here. So cover your surface area. Take advantage of your whole space. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take the ice and we're going to pile it on top. Take a big mound of ice on top of the roving. Okay, so we have all the ice on. As you can see, I got it piled on here pretty well. I've got all the surface area covered. As the ice melts, what it's going to do is it's going to bring that dye down in through the roving. So it's going to be our transport for the dye. Okay, so I've got my dye in here, and once again, I'm using the Raven Black from Dharma Trading, and you just sprinkle it on here. Generously sprinkle it. Okay, and as you can see, you've got some purple coming out. There's a little bit of yellow in there. Some pink. I see some pink here. Orange. There's a little dab of orange. It's really kind of fun to see this color separate because, as you know, black is a combination of all different colors. Well, this proves it right here. Oh, here's a good one right here. Look at this different colors on this piece of ice. We got blue, pink, yellow. You can use a spoon or a salt shaker, something like that. But you would just want to sprinkle it though, because the reason why I like this better than a spoon is because a spoon seems to put it on more clumpy, where this kind of separates it out more like a salt shaker would. I found these at Tuesday morning. Basically, like I said, it's just a T-ball. This is nice because it's got a solid on one side and a grate on the other side. So what it does is it will sprinkle it out.
Do that again because I. All right.
Well, see, that's what happens when you open it up and it's upside down. Big black spot there. Okay. And although it looks like it's kind of getting black on us, it won't. Okay. It's already starting to dye. You can see the color falling down below. It's going to be kind of mucky underneath. Well, there you go. Now we got it all over the place, huh? So it's getting kind of mucky underneath, but those individual colors, once they hit that soda ash, it sets it. So although some of the colors will blend, you'll still have individual dots of color in there. Okay, so now that we've got the dye on there, we're going to let it set. Okay, we're going to let it set, and the sun's coming in here. It's going to melt the ice, and then once the ice is melted, we're going to still let it set. It's got to set for 24 hours so that soda ash has time to grab a hold of those dye colors solidly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cover it with plastic wrap. That kind of helps slow down the melting process a little bit, so it goes a little bit slower. But we'll come back in a few hours and take a look at it, and so you can see how it looks as it goes along. Okay. And here we are an hour later, and as you can see, most of our ice is melted down. But what's really fun here is how you can see the colors. We've got some really neat colors popping out here. Some red, yellow right there. Right here is where I spilled that whole bunch of dye on there, so it's going to end up being a black, I think. But what's really fun about this is it's just random colors. You have no control over where these dye particles lay. What one comes out, it is random, totally random. Now we're going to go ahead and cover this back up. We're going to let it set. It's about 75 degrees out here, so it's a nice moderate temperature, so the ice is dying relatively slow, I'm going to say. Hotter days, I might put some more on here just to keep it moist for a little while. Like I said, we're going to let it set for 24 hours. It needs 24 hours for that fiber reactive dye to react with the fiber. I like to do this outside because it's, we're working with chemicals here. If it's bad weather, it gets windy, whatever, I'm going to move it in a little ways. But you want to let it set for a full 24 hours before you do anything else with it. One thing I forgot to say earlier was you want to put a mask on before you start to sprinkle your dye particles. The dye particles have minerals in it, which you don't want to inhale. But we all have masks now. So you want to make sure that you're doing this in a safe manner. Once again, I'm going to cover this back up, let it set. We'll come back in 24 hours and see what it looks like. Hi, it's been 24 hours since we left our roving to dye. I covered it, put it in the barn, let it set overnight, and as you can see, we've got some really fun colors popping out here. We've got the yellow, pink, purple. There's a little bit of kind of greenish blue here. This is where I dumped that huge big amount. So it's going to be black. We're going to have black. Let's see, I saw some other colors in here too earlier. But as you can see, there's a little more of a blue right there. as you can see, we've got a nice modeling of colors. I dumped off the dye liquid because I wanted to save it so that I can use it to dye something else with. So now what you're going to do is you're going to rinse it. And what I would do is I have a sink in the barn, so I would take it in the barn and just rinse it out there. Well, most of y'all don't have an extra sink. So what I'm going to do is just show you how we're going to do it this way. So just take regular clean water, and what you're going to do is dump that water through there. And you want to dump it so that eventually the water coming back through is running out clear. We put a lot of dye on this, so we've got to take that dye, that extra dye off. The dye that didn't attach does not need to be there. You want to make sure you get that all off, because if not, then when you use your fiber, it's going to come off on your fingers. So, we're just going to pour water through here. No difference between the buckets of water, it's just extra water. Just plain water out of the tap. There's a pretty hot pink color coming up right there. Pretty bright yellow right there too. Now when I get this all rinsed out, what I'm going to do is lay it out so it's not as clumpy, so it can dry. Now we've got really nice wet weather today, so I'm gonna take it in the house and let it dry out in the house. If you live in a drier area, you can hang it on the clothesline, you can just lay it out on a screen on the lawn. Now, with this roving, what would you do with it? Now you've got a pretty roving, what are you gonna do with it? Well, you can spin it. You can make it into yarn. You can add it to your bats and use it for felting. You can blend it with other fibers to make a yarn. We have alpacas, so I would blend it with alpaca. And like a neutral color alpaca, like a brown or a white colored alpaca. And, you know, that would give it just a little pop of color. You could add it to other roving. Here again, you could add it to brown roving. That would give it some, you know, brown or white, gray. Gray roving would be nice with it, or, you know, fiber to make roving. So I'm going to leave that, finish rinsing it off, but you got the idea. You want to make sure that the water's coming out of there clear. Okay, here's our excess dye here. As I said, I'm going to use that to dye some other yarn. Okay. So these are some of our end products that we can get out of this. So here's the roving that I've dyed before, and as you can see, there's that little pop of pink in there. There's kind of a blue color, blue, lavender. I don't have the yellow. Well, there's a little bit of yellow right there, yellow and orange right in there. So as you can see, when you spin this. If you spun this, it would just give you little dots and dashes of colors in there. Okay, this is some yarn that I've dyed. This is cotton bamboo yarn, and this one I did with the raven color, so it's the same color scheme as the roving. And then this one here is called Gray Mist. And the day I was doing this, the wind was blowing, so it kept wanting to blow away. So I didn't get as much color on here as I had wanted to do. But you can see where it's basically got the same colorway in there. It's just a little bit lighter, more subtle colors. these are some yarns that I've ice dyed, but what I've showed you today is just using one base color and how it splits out. These I did, this is just a blue, and what I did was I did like a stripe of thick blue, and then I kind of variegated it out so it ombre'd out into a white color. And then these, what I did was I just did like stripes through the top of my ice with lavender and orange. There's another color in there, like a pistachio color. And then this one here is the same idea where I just did stripes of colors. Now here again, it's going to be random because you don't know how that ice is going to melt. So it's just totally random how your colors are going to end up being. Once again, I've used Dharma Trading fiber reactive dyes. And the three that I've used that I like how they split out is the gray mist. This one is a blue violet, and I didn't have any samples left of that, but it breaks out and it's got a little bit more dark blue in it rather than the gray like our other is here today. And then the raven that we've used. Once again, this is Windmill Crest Farms. This is our website. The supplies you'll need to get started. The only thing I forgot to put on here was a spoon or something to sprinkle it out with. And for supplies, Windmill Crest Farms, so right here we have roving, and this is bamboo roving. I've got tencel, I can't think of another, there's another, I've got another cellulose fiber in there. I can't think of what the name of it is right now. And then I've got yarn bases. So this one is the cotton bamboo yarn base. And as you can see how pretty shiny it comes out when it's done. Gives you a really pretty shine. There's 495 yards in here. It's kind of a bulky weight, so it'd be good to make fast chunky things. Cotton is good for summer. Once again, visit our website, windmillcrestfarms.com, and thanks for watching.